Alright, you lot, gather round, because today we're diving into dark, murky waters of gaming's biggest what if. You know, last few days I've been ranting about absolute train wreck that is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. A game falling so fast it's making Battlefield 2042's dumpster fire launch look like a masterpiece. But what if there's a saviour waiting in wings? A game that could rise from ashes and give us the shooter we actually deserve. Stick around, because this one's going to hit harder than a sniper round to head. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe and all that bollocks. It helps the channel grow, keeps me ranting. Win-win, right? Right then, let's get into it. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Where do I even begin? This game's downfall has been no shorter a masterclass in our not-handled beloved franchise. Activision's meddling hands have turned a once proud series into all a shell of corporate greed and misplaced priorities. Community's been screaming into the void about same problems for years. Skill-based matchmaking that punishes good players, overpriced battle passes, and content so thin it makes Zara look lush. And yet what do we get? Radio silence from devs and big old middle finger to fans. And gameplay? Don't even get me started. It's like they actively tried to suck fun out of experience. Clunky mechanics, recycled assets, maps so uninspired that could have been drawn by a toddler with a crayon. Oh, and weapon balance? Forget it. Every match feels like Sweatfest where one meta weapon dominates Battlefield. And if you're not using it, well, tough luck, mate. But it's real kicker. Lack of innovation. This is supposed to be Black Ops. Series that gave us unforgettable campaigns and multiplayer that actually rewarded skill. Instead, we're left with a game that's about as engaging as watching paint dry. Well, let's not ignore elephant in room, Activision's obsession with profit over player satisfaction. It's all about squeezing every last penny out of you with microtransactions, while actual quality at game plummets faster than a noob trying to trick shot. Saddest part? Black Ops 6 could have been great. Potential was here, but instead, it's gaming equivalent to a pub with no beer. Pointless and utterly depressing. It's no wonder players are jumping ship faster than rats fleeing a sinking vessel. So with Call of Duty circling drain, it begs question. Who's going to fill the void? That's where XDefiant comes in. Or, well, could have come in. XDefiant wasn't just another wannabe shooter trying to ride Call of Duty's coattail. It was shaping up to be a proper contender. Ubisoft, for once, seemed to be doing something right. They ditched bloated open world nonsense and delivered fast-paced, skill-driven arena shooter that actually listened to its players. Yeah, you heard me. Listened. Imagine that in today's gaming industry. From get-go, XDefiant felt like a breath of fresh air. It had gunplay to rival Call of Duty, but without baggage of skill-based matchmaking or need to grind for a decade just to unlock halfway decent loadout. And factions? Bloody brilliant. They weren't just cosmetic, they actually meant something. Adding layers to gameplay that COD hadn't seen in years. It were a perfect blend of chaos and strategy, with a clear focus on rewarding skill and teamwork. You know, things that make shooters fun. And let's not forget devs. These legends didn't hide behind vague PR statements or pretend everything were fine. They were in trenches with community, taking feedback and actually implementing it. This weapon's overpowered? Fixed. This map's unbalanced? Adjusted. They even delayed game to make sure it were ready, instead of rushing out some half-baked mess like certain other studios I won't name. Activision. But, of course, this is Ubisoft we're talking about, and just when it seemed like they were on to a winner, they went and did what they do best. Completely bottled it. Sunsetting XDefiant before it even had a chance to shine. It's like giving us a taste at best steak we've ever had, then snatching plate away and saying, sorry, kitchen's closed. 6 months. That's all we've got left to enjoy the game before the pull plug. It's a bloody crime, that's what it is. And it's not just about XDefiant, is it? It's about what it represented. Proper alternative to Call of Duty. A game that didn't treat its players like cash cows or force us into matchmaking hell. Ubisoft had a chance to fill the gap that Black Ops 6 is leaving wide open. And they blew it. But maybe, just maybe, it doesn't have to end like this. Which brings us to our next point. Tencent. Gaming giant that owns a piece of Ubisoft and could very well be key to saving XDefiant. Here's where things get interesting. Picture this. Ubisoft has clearly thrown in the towel on XDefiant. But what if Tencent, juggernaut at gaming world, decided to swoop in and save day? Now before you roll your eyes and start moaning about corporate overlords, hear me out. Tencent already owns a significant chunk of Ubisoft, so they got skin in game. Hostile takeover? Not entirely out at question. Let's be real, Tencent's no stranger to spotting opportunities. They've got stakes in everything from Riot Games to Epic Games, and they're not exactly shy about throwing the weight around. If they were to seize control of Ubisoft, Revive and XDefiant could be their way of cementing themselves as saviour at shooter fans. They'd begin at game we want while sticking it to Activision and its lifeless corpse of a franchise. It's a win-win, right? And its kicker, XDefiant's already ready to go. Infrastructure, mechanics, community support, it's all there. Tencent wouldn't even have to build something from scratch. They could swoop in, rebrand it, and relaunch it as antidote to Call of Duty's mediocrity. Imagine hype, shooter that listens to players, backed by one of the biggest names in gaming. That alone would send shockwaves through industry. Now I know what you're thinking, Tencent's not exactly known for the player-first mentality. Fair point. But when it comes to marketing dominance, they're smart enough to know that a fan-favourite title like XDefiant could rake in both profits and goodwill. They'd be competing directly with Call of Duty. And let's face it, Black Ops 6 has made that easier than ever. Tencent could position XDefiant as anti-COD, game that brings shooters back to its roots, without corporate greed and cookie-cutter design. And let's not ignore the fact that shooter fans are desperate for something new. We're sick to death of rehashed Call of Duty titles and games that prioritise microtransactions over meaningful gameplay. XDefiant had potential to fill that gap, and Tencent has resources to make it happen. If they play the cards right, they could do what Ubisoft couldn't, turn XDefiant into a proper contender and give us a reason to hope again. But of course this is all hypothetical. Let's face it, shooter genre is in a right state. For years we've been stuck in this endless loop of recycled ideas, uninspired maps and greedy monetization scheme. Big players, Activision, EA, and yeah, even Ubisoft have treated us like no more than wallets with trigger fingers, and we're supposed to just put up with it. Nah mate, I'm not having it. Back in the day, shooters were fun. They were creative, challenging, and most importantly, rewarding. You didn't need to spend half your paycheck on battle passes, or suffer through lobbies of sweat trying to find kills for their highlight reels. You just picked up a controller, jumped into a match, and had a laugh with your mates. Remember that? Because it feels like industry sure doesn't. And that's why a game like XDefiant mattered. It was more than just another shooter. It was a sign that things could change. For a brief shining moment, we had a game that wasn't afraid to take risks or focus on player experience. No predatory microtransactions, no SBMM nightmares, just pure unfiltered gameplay. It was the kind of game that made you feel like devs actually gave a toss. But now, we're left staring into the void. Black Ops 6 is a mess. Battlefield's reputation still recovering. And Halo? Well, bless its heart, it's trying. Meanwhile, indie devs can't quite compete with polish a AAA title, and AAA studios can't be bothered to compete with themselves. It's like they've forgotten that we're the ones keeping their lights on. Thing is, shooter fans aren't asking for it well. We just want a game that respects our time, rewards us skill, and doesn't treat us like cash cows. A game where every match feels fresh, where winning actually means something, and where community thrives because devs listen. Is that really too much to ask? This is why I thought of Tencent stepping in to revive XDefiant is so tantalising. Not just about saving one game, it's about setting a precedent. If Tencent can show that there's a market for player-focused shooters, it could force the rest of the industry to wake up and smelt gunpowder. Imagine an industry where studios compete to make best game instead of most profitable one. That's dream, innit? So here's the question. Are we, fans, willing to demand better? Because if we don't, no changes. We've seen what's possible. XDefiant proved that there's still room for innovation, for games that prioritise skill, fun, and community over mindless grinding and corporate greed. And while Ubisoft may have fumbled bag, the story doesn't have to end here. Tencent, if you're listening, and let's be honest, you're probably spying on all of us anyway. This is your moment. Step up, grab reins, and get the game we deserve. Trust me, fans will show up in drove. But now it's your turn. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and leave your comments and questions below. What do you think about all this? Could Tencent beat Saviour? Or its shooter genre doomed to keep circling drain? And hey, don't hold back. I might just feature your best takes in a video. And with that, I'll see you next time, you magnificent.